Greetings, everybody. This is your favorite host, Ilona from ILONA TV, where stories change lives. And today we are in a hunt again and very privileged to have a very special guest in our studio, Sean Curry, who is the president, Go Get Them crew. So Sean, it's such a privilege to have you in here. So first of all, just looking at you, okay, I have so many questions. Tattoos, the Harley, this, all of the things. Tell me about what that represents.
Just an expression, a little bit of who I am and a little bit of who I was.
And I used to be afraid of the people with the tattoos. It's a cultural thing. We had a but I'm not going to go into it. But then I changed my mind about people with the tattoos because it's a storytelling thing. So can you please, first of all, tell us how many tattoos you have on your body and what's your favorite one?
I couldn't tell exactly how many I have because they're a little bit scattered. But probably my favorite one, across my collarbone, I got the word doulos, which is the Greek translation for bondservant or bond slave. And above, right above that is a heart with a keyhole. And I'm actually gonna get another tattoo with a key, and it's gonna have God on it. So God's the only one with the key to my heart. But doulos means servant by choice, and so I choose to serve Jesus Christ.
Okay, this is great journey that where you are right now. But tell me, why did you got into the Jesus thing?
I was brought up in the church, brought up in the Sunday school, but I was brought up on religion, so there were expectations that in order to receive God's grace, in order to receive God's mercy and His love, you had to work for it. You had to be good for it, and so I grew up on religion, not knowing relationship. Not until I fell away from the church and found myself in a jail cell facing 25 to 35 years of my life in prison, did God come and start making His voice noticeable in my life again. And that's really when the relationship started.
Let's zoom in back into before you got into the sentence 35 years. What crime did you commit? What did you do?
So I got heavily involved with drugs at a very young age. To support my habit and to boost my ego, I guess, I started selling them. I started making and selling methamphetamines. I got pulled over up north with a large amount of methamphetamines, other drugs, and firearms. So.
We are facing the huge pandemic right now, and it's not the pandemic of the COVID or any other things, pandemic of the drugs and addiction to it. And I just want to know, what are people missing out there that drug replaces?
Yeah, I was diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic when I was 6 years old. At that time, the disease wasn't too familiar. There was a real big stigma with it. So I got picked on, I got bullied a lot. But the moment I got high, all of a sudden it felt like I put on a superhero cape. And I wasn't afraid to defend myself. It was an escape and a mask of who I thought I was to who I wanted to be. And so I think what drugs is it numbs and it medicates, but it also helps you paint this fantasy in your head of who you think you are or want to be.
But it's a temporary though, right? It's not, it's fictitious, it's not gonna happen. So it's a self-lie.
Yep.
So, but people like to live that in that mode, in that moment for some reason, because it's easy, it's accessible, and nobody can control them after that. So, but we all know, right? The drug can destroy, and it destroys not just the person involved, but the people around him as well. So, by you using the drugs or being affected by drugs, how many people in your circle, in your life, your choice have affected?
Oh man, if I knew the number, I don't know if I would even put it out there.
But it's scary, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I know from the old circle I used to run around with, only 2 of them made it out. All the rest are dead. I got a buddy doing 44 years in federal penitentiary, one doing 27. Other one's just on the run. by the grace of God, I was pulled out and given a chance.
So if we are fair enough, if we look in the statistics, right, we usually put the statistics of people who are directly involved with the drugs, but we forget to put statistics of people that is indirectly affected too.
Yeah.
So if we pull really these statistics, it pretty much will be affecting a lot of people, more than we even think or know. So what do you think we can do as a nation, or let's start with the city, to fix that problem?
Man, we got to help people find a new sense of hope. And the lies we're allowing our children and our younger generations to believe, and the things that we're accepting them to do, all we're doing is setting up failure for the next generations after that.
Where do we start? Or where we start? At the church, the homes, schools? What would be solution? Where do you think?
Well, I mean, the problem started is when we pulled God out of the schools.
Yes. I tell this everybody. You want to fix stupidity and you keep God out of schools and politics and education. Good luck with this.
Yeah.
Good luck with this. They want to fix everything and they pull God out. No,
Right.
it's not going to work like this.
Yeah.
So you want a sense of serenity, sense of mindfulness. Put God back.
Yeah.
In a workplace, in a church, in a school places, and also in politics.
Yeah.
Because God was directly involved. If you trace it, with the politics, with the
Yeah.
people in government, pharaohs, right? All of this, very, very, very directly. The kings were always. He was away from God. He was with the God. He was away from God. Always direct connection.
Yeah.
So this is the direct result when we remove him, his standards, his expectations, his values, and then we're surprised why we're in this mess.
Yeah.
So this is your camera, Sean. I want you to look at this camera and talk to someone, to the specific people here in Minneapolis or Twin City who are actually involved with the drugs, directly or indirectly. What would you want to tell them? How you want to inspire them?
Oh man, that when your original design was being put together in the heavenly places off of God's blueprint, that was not in your life plan to be an addict, to be a junkie, to be struggling. It might have had a temporary a moment in your life to develop something, but that's not who you are or what you're called to do. You're called to do more. There's a bigger purpose behind it. Hope is still there. But not until you start believing it for yourself. I love how everybody's ready to blame God or else blame the devil for their problems, but nobody wants to accept the responsibility that our biggest opponents isn't God or the enemy, it's ourselves. We give them both too much credit. So when you understand who you're designed from and who you're designed in, then you'll understand what your Father's business is all about, and life will take off on a whole different journey, an adventure.
Sean, we all have people in our lives that we forget to say sorry to. Who is the one person in your life that you forgot to apologize?
I haven't forgotten, but I couldn't apologize enough to a son. I got a 17-year-old son. 10 years of his life I had spent incarcerated, so we developed a relationship, and I watched him grow up from a DOC visiting room. And I'm so proud of the man he is becoming and the gentleman that he was able to develop into, even without his father there teaching him things or building, strong morals. So with my son, I'm sorry that you had to learn how to be a man by yourself, and you had to raise yourself, and you had to raise your sister and your brother, and be there for your mother when you should have just had the freedom to be a kid. So
yeah, it takes lots of courage to apologize, and it takes lots of freedom when you do that, the liberation. So Sean, what is your hopes right now for yourself? What's the next thing for you?
Oh man, my life has really just taken off. I spent 36 years in addiction. 27 years in addiction. I was 36 years old when I had 27 years in addiction. I just hit my 4-year mark of sobriety. I work in an amazing place where I get to help addicts and come alongside men every day. and I get to just pour into ministries. I'm a part of a church called Truth and Freedom. Shout out to Pain Reliever and Zion Roads as well, and those ministries out there helping throughout the east side and the addicts out there. But right now, my mission is just not to be a Sunday morning, Wednesday night Christian. I want to pick up a hammer and I want to build the kingdom. I want to expand it. I want to put God in a panic that he needs to make more room for believers to come up there. You know, I want to, as much as God's got me on my toes, I want to see if I can get him on his toes and please him, you know. But
I love it.
yeah.
I love it. I think this is such a great inspirational thing, and I love that it's not religious language. It's a relational language that you use, very, affordable for people to even hear this mission and vision. You're the biker, and you have people don't know that you have the crew that you guys bike around the city. So what do you do? What's the next for you guys? Where are we gonna see you next time?
Yeah, so we're in a bit of a transition. We're sorting some things out, but I mean, we're rooted from some of the most strongest godly men and women that I've met, all about not afraid to get their hands dirty for the kingdom, be on the front line, take the hits from the enemy. But right now, we're just transitioning with what our vision is, trying to sort everybody's vision into one vision. But we really got a heart for secular clubs, for the addicts out there, for women and children stuck and imprisoned in sex trafficking. We want to get involved with that and breaking that up.
Oh, thank you for doing that, because my heart also goes with the victims that are stuck in the sex trafficking. And I cannot imagine the pain that they go through and recovery that they have to even allow themselves to go through. So honestly, thank you. We really, really need a real man to step up and step into role to protect, starting with the families, and then go to the communities, and then go to the cities.
Amen.
So I want you to encourage lots of men in here, not just a man in a physical body, but the men who really know what manhood is and what the purpose of being a man is. Step up as a father, step up as a community leader, step up as a family man. Just step up, because we need you guys. We need you. So thank you, Sean, for being that beacon of the one who ignites and encourages other men to step up and step into the roles that they have to be, so we can not fix the problem, we will just show it, and really, with the love of God, we will do it together as a community.
Amen.
So I really appreciate you. And for you today that you're watching ILONA TV, I just want you to think about one thing. It's not over. It's not over for you. If you're probably counting your years or allowing years to count you, stop this. It's not over yet. So follow your dreams. You know that there's a better thing that's happening, and the hope is just on the way. You may as well, wait by the door, because it's about to knock. That was Ilona from ILONA TV. We will see you next time.